So this weekend gone, I had a really rough time, and it wasn't a partying kind of rough. It was an emotional roller coaster rough. I just felt problems coming in from all sides, and I couldn't figure out how to move past it. I couldn't figure out how to handle it. I had like an elephant sitting on my chest, which I think we all had at some point, and I was just crying the whole weekend. I was devastated. I was putting so much effort in trying to juggle everything, but it wasn't enough, and I just felt like a failure. I felt like I was letting everyone down. I was just in a very low space. So I was down in the trenches feeling horrible for about 2, 3 days. I was crying the whole time. I was just beside myself, but I didn't rush through it. I wanted to, in that space, I couldn't be bothered figuring out how to get out of it. I couldn't be bothered figuring out how to solve my problems. I phoned people closest to me and try and talk through it, but I really didn't want to hear it. I wasn't in a solving space. I threw a pity party, and if you were there to pity me, you were invited. Otherwise, I didn't want to hear of it. I just sat in my emotions and in all that mess for 3 days. I was very content being there. When I finally saw the light and I wanted to come out of my hole, the first thing that I did is turn to gratefulness. And what am I grateful for? And the things that I was thinking about had nothing to do with my problem. I was concentrating on my family. My daughter at the time, she said something funny which made me smile, and I just was grateful that I get to be her mother, that I get to have her in my life. And even though my husband wasn't there, he was working away, I was just grateful that he's able to do that, that we're able to have this family, the three of us. That really helped me not feel the feelings as intense as I did. It really brought them down a notch. And then I was able to remind myself that this problem will pass. It can't stay like this forever. I'll figure out a way. I have before, and I've certainly been in worse situations before. But in that moment, it certainly felt like I was going to stay there forever, and it was the biggest problem in the world. So I didn't necessarily focus on figuring out the problem. I focused on de-escalating those emotions, and that's what being grateful did for me. And then I just reminded myself of my own strength, of my own worthiness, that I will figure this out, just step by step, one foot in front of the other, but I'll get out of this. And after all this, I went into problem solving. What problems or what situations can I actually control? And I wasn't thinking even 5 minutes into the future. I was thinking about right now. What can I do right now? What is the problem that's right in front of me? Because when we're in that moment, what we're thinking about is the future. So really thinking about the present moment, what's right in front of me? What can I deal with right now? And if I can't deal with it right now, I'm going to push it aside, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I'm not going to plan my journey, figure out how to get through every obstacle before I even commenced my journey. So I was really focusing on one problem at a time and relying on myself that when we get to the next problem and when we get to the next situation, that the same way I solved the previous problems and the many problems I faced before that, I'll figure out this one and the one after that and the one after that, because whatever it is, it shall pass. It can't stay the way it is forever. It has to eventually disappear. So I went from feeling overwhelmed with emotion, wanting to shut myself off from the world, wanting to curl up in a corner, to just figuring out the next step and the step after that, and not worrying about the future. Just this step. Let me make this step, and then once I make that one, I'll make another one after that, and I'll make another one after that.